How's it going, everyone? In this video, we have some big news on Becky Lynch's return, another star moved to NXT, and a whole lot more. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get the latest wrestling news. Alright guys, so for our first story of today, we have the ratings for Monday Night Raw, NXT, and AEW Dynamite. So according to a report from Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, Monday Night Raw drew 1,803,000 viewers and a .50 in the key demo rating. NXT drew 676,000 viewers and a .18 in the key demo rating, and AEW Dynamite drew 752,000 viewers with a .26 in the key demo rating. So it looks like all three shows did see a pretty big drop in the ratings, going up against baseball and the NBA. Next up, we have two big stories coming from AEW. So first up, we have an update on Hangman Adam Page after his scary injury on Dynamite this week. So following the injury, AEW announced that Adam Page was taken to a Cincinnati trauma center and was diagnosed with a concussion, but was later discharged, where he will remain in AEW's concussion protocol. So great news for Adam Page, and we wish him a full and speedy recovery. Next, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer is reporting that Ace Steel, who was involved in the CM Punk and the Elite backstage altercation last month, has been released from AEW. However, nothing else was said about if and when CM Punk or the Elite would return to the company. Next, we have some news on plans for Shinsuke Nakamura in NXT. So following his return to NXT this week, it looks like Shinsuke Nakamura could be going down the same road as Apollo Crews, because according to a new report from PWInsider.com, the plan for Shinsuke Nakamura is for him to continue to make additional appearances on the NXT brand, but it still remains unclear what exactly WWE has planned for the former Intercontinental Champion. Next up, we have some big news on Becky Lynch's return from injury. So despite numerous reports about Becky Lynch returning to the ring soon, according to a new report from Fightful.com, as of early September, Becky's doctors believed that it would be at least a couple of months before she could return to in-ring competition. However, there is hope in WWE that she could be ready to return by the end of the year, but that obviously remains to be seen. So now guys, I want to give you my thoughts and opinions on all of the topics that we discussed today. Starting off with our first topic, we did talk about the ratings for Monday Night Raw, NXT, and also Dynamite. So according to Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, Monday Night Raw drew 1,803,000 viewers, NXT drew 676,000 viewers, and AEW Dynamite drew 752,000 viewers. So it does look like all three shows did see a pretty big drop in the ratings department, going up against baseball and also the NBA. The next story that we talked about was actually two stories from AEW. The first was an update regarding Adam Page's injury that he suffered on Dynamite this week in his match against Jon Moxley. And AEW did report that Adam Page was taken to a Cincinnati trauma center after his injury, and he was diagnosed with a concussion, but he was later discharged and he will remain in AEW's concussion protocol. So good news for Hangman Adam Page, because at first it did look like he suffered some kind of injury to his neck, but as it turns out, it was just a concussion. Although concussions are serious, thankfully it wasn't a neck injury. The next story that we talked about was Ace Steel getting released by AEW, and Dave Meltzer did report that Ace Steel was released by AEW on Tuesday. As we all know, he was involved in the backstage altercation last month where he allegedly bit Kenny Omega, and he also threw a chair at Nick Jackson. I believe it was Nick Jackson. So now he is no longer with the company. The next story that we talked about was plans for Shinsuke Nakamura in NXT. And according to a new report from PWInsider.com, the plan for Shinsuke Nakamura is for him to continue to make additional appearances on the NXT brand, but it remains to be seen if he has been officially moved from SmackDown to NXT, which was a similar situation to what Apollo Crews, to what happened to him, because he is now an NXT star after he was on the main roster. The next story that we talked about was a big update pretty much on Becky Lynch's injury. And according to a new report from Fightful.com, they are reporting that as of early September, Becky Lynch's doctors believed that it would be at least a couple of months before she can make her return to in-ring competition. So it does look like, despite all of the rumors and reports about Becky Lynch being backstage and potentially returning to the ring, she won't be returning to WWE anytime soon. However, it was also stated that WWE is hopeful that she could return at the end of the year. So we wish Becky Lynch a speedy recovery as well. So with that being said, guys, that is all of the news that we have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.